Did you know that 96% of all of the waste in landfills is food waste? Now, where do you think a large portion of that comes from? We're going to identify the problem. I've got some whys, whos, and how can we go about solving the problem? And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for how we can work this problem out right here in our kitchen. Home cooks, get ready because there are things that we need to do for the sake of our family. What is a zero waste kitchen? You know, typically a zero waste kitchen says that we're attempting to reduce the amount of waste that's created when we prepare our meals. And we're adding less to the landfills. And we're using the food that we purchase responsibly. Now, all of us are trying to do that. And so we know that there are some true blue benefits to what we do. So while I'm working here, we're going to talk about some of those benefits. We're going to look at some of the things that we might want to try if we haven't already started it. And if we started it, it may be something that we can share with each other that we can do to reduce our carbon footprint.
I'm Leona Dooley. Welcome to the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. Leftovers, food scraps, packaging, all of those things add waste. And you know what? We have to figure out how can we lessen the amount of waste that our family produces. Not only do we want to think about lessening the amount that we produce, but how do we avoid having it in the first place? That's the hard part. So as I scrape down this celery, and as you can see, I'm producing a certain amount of waste. They're my food scraps. But you're going to find that I am not going to just take these and put them into the disposal or place them into the trash can. There are other things that we can do. We just have to have a plan. Planning is good, so let's work on that.
How many of you shop with a grocery plan and you know exactly what you're going to prepare for that week, and then you actually work your grocery list from those meals that you've selected that you have intention of preparing? And if you do that, well, you are so clever, because that's exactly where we're going to start. That's our number one. So we're going to start by keeping a running list of meals and the ingredients that your family enjoys. Now, if you haven't watched my one plan for 1 month, then you've missed something. It not only gives you a month of meals to get started with, it encourages you to develop your own month of meals and intentionally start writing the meals that you prepare down. Keep a sheet on the refrigerator where you can just go and jot down for an entire month everything that you have prepared, even if it's a duplicate. That's good to know.
Also, a part of our plan is our 7 essential food categories for a fully stocked pantry. You know how important your pantry is. So remember this: when our pantries are well stocked, then you can plan and cook meals directly from what you have already on hand.
Also, from that, then you can look at what are your shopping habits. Do you shop weekly? Do you shop bi-weekly? Or do you shop monthly? And certainly the one plan for 1 month encourages us to shop monthly, but you know what? I'm finding that shopping for either bi-weekly or 2 weeks, that is even more strategic, because then I'm only going to buy exactly what I need for that time period.
Most often, I have my groceries delivered. And I do that because of the fact that very often I have some things that are in there that are pretty heavy. And so, because of that, I just don't want to do the lifting. However, you'll notice that when I have groceries delivered, then I have an accumulation of those plastic bags that I really don't want. But, I have managed to find additional things to do with them, whether it's putting them into a trash can, whether it's sending a guest home with food and using that bag for them to carry it to their house. And so, there are advantages and disadvantages as you're grocery shopping. But certainly, when you're going into the store, or when you're shopping at your farmer's market or wherever it may be that you're going, then you'll want to take your cloth reusable bags with you, because it saves our planet and helps us on our way to no waste.
When we're grocery shopping, whether it's on the computer or whether it's in person and having even someone to come and deliver, we want to make sure that what we're putting on that list is something that we're absolutely going to use.
A part of my daily routine is to empty the dishwasher and certainly throughout the day take the time to put the dishes in. Now, you know what? It's not a lot of work. And certainly, we have to think about the fact that we are saving the planet and reducing food waste each time we're removing or placing dishes into the dishwasher. Had you thought about that? When I have large groups of people, then I will use disposable items so that the cleanup is not quite so overwhelming. But on an everyday basis, you know what? I'm going to use my dishes, I'm going to use my glassware, and I'm going to use my either my dishwasher, or I'm going to do it by hand. So it's a little bit of work, but it's worth having a zero waste kitchen when possible. You are always welcome into the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. I invite you to subscribe and to hit that like button before you leave. We don't need a large backyard to compost. A really small bin will do. And in fact, I like to add my kitchen scraps, as you saw, like coffee grounds, vegetable and fruit peels, and eggshells, directly to my flower pots. And then I let Mother Nature do her thing. So, this is where our good old NutriBullet comes in, and it's quite handy. So it's just a matter of putting it into the dishwasher to get it nice and clean and sterilized again for the next blend. But remember, keep your scraps in a container. You can put them either in your refrigerator or in your freezer. When you get enough of them and it's nice and full, then pour all of those contents into a blender along with water and blend until you have a nice slurry. And then go treat your plants to a great dinner. Keep in mind that eggshells, coffee grounds, banana peels, orange peels can all be used as fertilizers in your garden. Eggshells in particular can be added directly to the soil to give your plants a calcium boost. And our tomatoes and our pepper plants really love that. Now, coffee grounds are rich in nitrogen and can be added to just about any type of ground. And certainly it can work like a mulch around the plants in your garden. Banana peels can add nitrogen and potassium and phosphorus and calcium and magnesium to your soil. So keep in mind that by using food scraps in your garden, you can save money on those expensive fertilizers while also reducing your food waste. Now, let me remind you, you will not get a full picture of your no waste kitchen unless you finish my video and then go over to Denise Jordan's video over at This and That. And I've linked her down below because we're collaborating today. And, collaborations are always a lot of fun. You're able to get more information. And I just know that you're going to benefit and want your kitchen to be a no waste kitchen as well. Now, let's do some more talking. Now, keep this in mind. This is a great way to be able to compost because we have blended up all of our vegetables and coffee grinds and all of those good things, and they're ready to go, and I'm going to place them into my flower pot. Adding food scraps to your flower pots can be a great way to provide your plants with essential nutrients and minerals. Now, I read an article from Off the Grid News, and it said that food scraps can be composted into rich soil that's full of nutrients, which can be used as a soil fertilizer or even a pest repellent, and to give to your plants to boost their vital nutrients. And in addition to that, keep in mind that eggshells, coffee grounds, banana peels, orange peels can all be used as fertilizers in your garden. Eggshells and improving your no waste kitchen. Now, remember this though, that not all food scraps are suitable for the flower pots. Anything that's meat or dairy cannot be used as a fertilizer because of the fact that they attract pests and they also cause terrible, unpleasant odors. Another way to save the planet and to also work towards your zero waste kitchen is to control your portion size when you're preparing your dish. I had that tendency to cook for an army because when the kids were here, that's exactly what I had. I had an army of people coming in and out all the time and could never really judge how many people we were going to have to sit down at dinner. But now that we've gotten past that, it's no more most of the time than 4, then I'm able to lessen the amount of food that I'm purchasing, lessen the amount of food that I'm actually cooking. So I'm thinking about how many people I have, what I need to prepare, and keeping it small so that if possible, I won't have any leftovers. Remember, we're planning our meals. We are portioning carefully as we're putting our food onto the plates. And if there are leftovers, then we're going to think about how we can re-envision those leftovers. There's always something else that we can do so that they really don't look like leftovers. In addition to your just regular grocery shopping, be sure to buy local and seasonal items when possible. This is a wonderful way to support your local farmers. And I just love going to our local farmers market because those are great places to connect with farmers and other vendors. You might even consider participating in a co op with certain farmers. Keeping your meal plan, of course, first and foremost in mind, and you're trying not to buy items that no one eats.
When you're working toward a zero waste kitchen, there are certain essentials that you really want to have on hand. First of all, you want glass, whether it's glass to store, which in this case is just a nice ball jar, or it could be glass in this respect where we have containers, we have our snap tops, and we're able to store items in the refrigerator that we need. And then we can just snap the top on them. You'd be amazed the things that I have in glass. I have my pepperoncinos, my red pepper flakes, in glass. I have my rice in glass. I have my salt in glass. My spices are mostly in glass. And I keep extra jars just in case I need other things that need to be put away and I don't want to use plastic or whatever it may be, then I can put it in glass and store it in its proper place. Another way to lessen our impact on the planet is to reuse the glass jars that perhaps we've had something in. For instance, this is a Classico bottle. Classico is a type of spaghetti sauce for those who may not know. And when I get these, I love these bottles. They have measurements on them. I put them in the dishwasher, get them cleaned up, get all the little sticky off from the labels that are on it. And this just happens to be some white vinegar. I have a huge bottle of white vinegar, and this allows me to have a small amount right here in the kitchen. Now, also, jelly jars and other jars that you may have, this is black pepper, but it gives me a nice place to put my pepper. It looks kind of cute on the shelf, and it's in a jar rather than being in some type of metal container. Not that metal's totally bad, but glass is always a great option and easy to clean. Now, think about this. How many times have you used a plastic cup? You know what I'm talking about? Yes, I have them. And I keep these for when I have a large number of people coming to the house. And it's almost impossible to keep up with all of the dishwashing and all of the glasses and all of those things that need to be done. So I save these for those opportunities. This is not something we use every day. Now, we use either, I can't remember, this is my BrewMate container that I have that I can put either hot or cold beverages in. I also have another BrewMate that I can take on my walks, go to the beach with, and just sip on some nice cool water as I'm going. You know that there are Yetis and all kinds of, there's Stanley and you name it, but those are great options for being able to substitute for that plastic cup. But you know what the very best option is? There's nothing like a nice, cool beverage. Now you notice, unfortunately, this particular beverage came in a type of plastic. But I checked, and this plastic is recyclable. Now, all plastic isn't, but this is. So when we finish it, I'm going to wash it out real good, put it into the recycle bin, because I know that it's going to be used for tires or something else. One way that we can save our environment and to have a zero waste kitchen is by using cloth instead of paper. And so we're going to be using cloth napkins. And that means that I might have to wash a time or two more than usual, but you know what? I have the joy in knowing that these cloth napkins are going to save and to keep paper out of the landfill. It's amazing how many napkins go into the landfill each month. In fact, each day. So if you're throwing paper napkins and paper towels into your trash can, that's a problem. And that's a problem that we have a solution for. And so let's see if we can work that out. So I have pulled out all of my napkins. I tried it, and I thought, you know what? Let me go get the rest of my napkins and put them out so that the family will use these instead of using the paper. And let's see how that works. So we got napkins. I'm going to place them in a nice basket and make it very convenient for them. You know, convenience is half the battle. So we're going to make them very convenient for them to get to. They can just pick up a napkin, and I have a little laundry basket ready for them, those napkins as they are soiled. So using cloth instead of paper. That's one solution. I'm folding up my kitchen towels, and I picked up a few extras. So I'm just going to get those folded and have those ready, because I use probably 2 a day. But
It's amazing how small changes can make a big impact. And first, let me say that we are not trying to recreate new kitchens. We are just trying to make our kitchens more efficient. And in this case, we've used our cloth napkins, we're using our cloth dish rags and towels rather than paper items or selections. We're minimizing that paper towel usage by having reusable kitchen towels where we can. I'm also trying to switch over to white cotton because they clean up very easily, and they also are great in dusting and all kinds of things that you can do in your house. Now, an additional big plus is the fact that they save money because they're very reasonable in cost. So, when you switch over, look for good options and things that you can use in multiple places.
don't forget your vacuum sealer when you're thinking about saving items that you have purchased, particularly your meat products and even vegetable products. Use your vacuum sealer so that those things that you're putting into the freezer will have a good shelf life. When we make chicken broth with our leftover pieces of chicken and bone and skin. As you can see, I've collected quite a bit here. I'm going to place it into the crock pot, cover it with water, add a little bit of seasoning, and I'm going to let this cook for at least 8 to 12 hours. And at the end of that time, I can strain it, put it into either jars or some type of freezer container, and we have used our waste products, basically things that we weren't going to really use. We've been able to use those to the fullest before we put it into the trash. Now, if you remember, I said that we're going to use as much as we can. Now, these pieces that I had put over into this container are pieces that we are going to use to develop a broth. Leftover chicken, leftovers of any vegetables that aren't quite as perfect as I like. I'm going to fill this with some water, and I'm going to let this sit quietly on low and let it cook low and slow for the rest of the day. Now, I'm sure you're asking yourself the question, okay, you made me aware of striving for a zero waste kitchen, and that's something you're interested in. And so if that's the case, let's talk about some of the things that we can do. You need a starting point, and I guarantee you your starting point is going to be one that you're going to say, oh, I already do this. And so if that's the case, wonderful. But there are going to be a few extras that you may think about and go, I hadn't thought about that. And so perhaps you'll try it. Before we leave today, I'm going to give you 5 essential items that you're going to want to include in your kitchen home cooks so that you can start, if you haven't already, you can start lessening your impact that your family's making on the planet. So let's take a look at some of those zero waste kitchen items that you can use. First, I'm replacing my paper towels with reusable paper towels that I can wash in the washer. And so when it really, really, really gets so grungy that even the washer can't get it clean, I give it to the big guy to use out in the garage. So yes, he's okay with having lemons. That's item number 1. And all of these items I'll link down below so that you can have access to them just in case you might want to include them in your kitchen. Second, I'm replacing my plastic bags with reusable plastic bags, and they are so nice. So I'm going to get these out of here because I want to put them in my reusable bag. So I'm putting my cookies in there. They're going to stay nice and fresh. We're in and out of it probably every day. So we have our reusable plastic bags. And you know, I've got those linked down below as well, because if you buy them at some of the stores, they're quite pricey. So I have a link down below that I use, and same quality, everything, and a much better price. So reusable plastic bags is an option. Next is going to be cotton towels. Cotton towels. It doesn't matter what design, what pattern that you decide to go with for your particular kitchen, but these are invaluable. And you know, I start each day with 2 clean ones, as well as I start with 2 clean cotton kitchen towels. These are the kitchen towels, the larger kitchen towels that you can use. You know, if you decide to be more decorative, that's fine, but certainly they can just be white if that's what you want. but use these instead of using products like paper towels and napkins if possible. And speaking of napkins, we're going to start using cloth napkins, because at the end of the evening, take all of your cloth items, your dish towels, your dish rags or washcloths, your napkins, and put them in the washer, run a good hot load, and they are all ready for another day. But they are reusable. So those are good. We also want to have reusable shopping bags. And you know, I went to a conference and they're always giving these away. So I have tons of reusable, and this is a very nice roomy bag. So very often you can get bags like this that you can get free. But I also found that what I like is to take my little bags and put my potatoes or onions into them. They make a great storage bag, and you just hang them wherever you want. And they're nice and airy. Put them in a cool, dry place, and once they're empty, throw them into the evening wash, and they're ready to go. And you know what? The big guy's gotten to the point where he gets one before he goes to the grocery. Who would have thought? Last but not least is this nice little composting bin. And I showed you earlier in the video what I like to do with all of my peels and vegetable leftovers that are fresh. I put them into this little container, and it just sits right here in the sink, very handy to be able to use. And it washes well. It's a nice substance and washes well. So I can just put it into a nice tub of hot soapy water, get it clean, put it back in place, and it's ready to receive my eggshells, my banana peels, my orange peels, my apple peels, and oh my goodness, the list just goes on. Well, home cooks, today we have certainly been quite busy, and we have learned so much. We are striving for a zero waste kitchen, and you know, I am bound and determined that over the next month or so that I'm going to have it down pat. Now, that's not saying that every day is going to be perfect, because you know, we're just not there, but we're always striving for the best. Now, if you enjoyed my video today, I hope you're going to hop on over to Denise Jordan over at This and That. I've linked her down below so that you can find out some of the things that she's doing in her zero waste kitchen. And you know, be merciful on yourself. You know, if there are things that one home cook is doing that the other one's not, just encourage. That's what we do. We encourage each other to strive for improvement. So many blessings to each of you today and always. And I hope to see you soon again in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. God bless.